Hello, master. How are ya? Please tell the court what you saw Washington doing in the halls yesterday.
Counting money.
He was counting money. And what did you do?
I checked to see if my wallet was missing.
Up your nose with a rubber hose.
Up your nose with a rubber hose.
4 kids, 1 teacher, 1 Brooklyn classroom.
This is my place, and these are my people.
For 4 years, America tuned in every Thursday night to watch the Sweathogs, the remedial class, the ones nobody expected anything from, and somehow they made the whole country laugh.
Esmeralda, come ring my bell.
But here is what the laugh track never told you. One of them lost his son, his wife, and his first love, all to the same disease.
Hey, off my case, toilet face.
One built the most famous laugh on television from the sound of his dying father.
Why'd we tie him up, Vinny? Hey, why'd we tie him up?
2 of them died 7 months apart, same cause, same year. Of the 7 main cast members, 4 are now gone. 51 years later, here is what actually happened to all of them.
Morning, people.
Good morning, Mr. Cotter. We're all in our places with bright, shining faces.
John Travolta as Vinnie Barbarino.
Barbarino. Vinny Barbarino.
John Travolta was born on February the 18th, 1954, in Inglewood, New Jersey, the youngest of 6 children. Every single one of his siblings became an actor. He dropped out of high school at 16 and was 21 years old when he became Vinnie Barbarino, the beautiful, charismatic, completely irreplaceable leader of the Sweathogs. The kid every boy wanted to be and every girl wanted to be with.
This is a body for sitting and spreading. It's simple. Basketball. Basket case.
The live studio audience erupted every time he entered the room. Producers knew immediately they had something they couldn't control. They were right. While Kotter was still airing, Travolta filmed Carrie, Saturday Night Fever, and Grease. Saturday Night Fever earned him an Oscar nomination at 24. By season 4, he'd outgrown the show so completely, he returned only as a special guest star, 10 episodes at $2,000 each, a fraction of what his films were already paying.
You scratch my back, I scratch yours.
I can't do that. You see, my wife has an exclusive on my entire body.
Then came the losses. While Kotter was still running, he fell in love with Diana Hyland, 18 years older than him, cast as his mother in a TV movie. She died of breast cancer in March 1977. He was 23 and holding her when she died. In January 2009, his 16-year-old son Jet died from a seizure during a family vacation in the Bahamas. During the extortion trial that followed, Travolta publicly confirmed for the first time that Jet had been autistic. A criminal act forced that disclosure in open court. In July 2020, his wife Kelly Preston died at 57 after a private 2-year breast cancer battle. 29 years of marriage ended the same way everything else had ended. After a brutal slump through the 1980s, Tarantino resurrected him with Pulp Fiction in 1994. A second Oscar nomination followed. In 2026, at 72 years old, John Travolta received an honorary Palme d'Or at Cannes for his directorial debut. He's outlived his first love, his son, and his wife. He's still here, still working, and somehow, still standing.
Your trouser leg, roll it up.
What did you have in mind?
Roll up your trouser leg. What is this?
It's a skin condition.
Gabe Kaplan as M.R. Kotter.
My name is Mr. Cotter.
Gabe Kaplan was born on March the 31st, 1945, in Brooklyn, New York. He wanted to play Major League Baseball. He couldn't make even a minor league roster, so he became a bellman at a New Jersey resort hotel, watched touring comedians perform in the lounge every night, and decided he could do it better. He was 30 years old when he became Gabe Kotter, the teacher who went back to his old Brooklyn high school to teach the class of misfits he'd once belonged to, because that's exactly what it was. Kaplan created the concept from his own stand-up routine about growing up in remedial classes. 5 appearances on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson caught the attention of producers. The Sweathogs weren't fictional. They were real people he'd actually sat beside in school. But behind the scenes, the show was a war zone. Executive producer James Comack manipulated both Kaplan and Marcia Strassman, telling each of them separately that the other wanted them fired. Neither was true. When Kaplan discovered the deception, the relationship was irreparable. By the final season, he'd effectively broken from the show, appearing in only a handful of episodes. And then he did something almost nobody in Hollywood does. He walked away completely. No desperate comeback tour, no guest spots, no reality television. He became a professional poker player, one of the best in the world. He won the main event at Amarillo Slim's Super Bowl of poker. His total live tournament winnings reached nearly $2 million. He hosted high-stakes poker on television for years. Today in 2026, Gabe Kaplan is 81 years old, one of only 3 main cast members still alive. He still carries the green corduroy jacket from the show. He still has every script. Strangers still stop him on the street and call him Mr. Kotter. He walked away from fame on his own terms. Fame never entirely walked away from him.
I'll also be your social studies instructor. Social studies? That's one of our favorites. Can we begin right now? Well, as soon as I get your names, I guess we'll get right into it. Great, oh, goody, goody, goody!
Ron Palillo as Arnold Horshack.
Hello. How are you? I'm Arnold Horshack.
Ron Palillo was born Ronald Gabriel Palillo on April 2, 1949, in Cheshire, Connecticut. His father died of lung cancer when Ron was 10 years old. The grief was so overwhelming he developed a stutter. His mother enrolled him in local theater to help. It worked. He started his own summer theater at 14. He graduated from the University of Connecticut with a drama degree. He trained in Shakespeare. He was 26 years old when he became Arnold Horshack, the wheezing, hand-raising, lovable misfit of the Sweathogs. And here is the detail that changes everything you think you know about that character. Horshack's trademark laugh, that high-pitched, gasping, wheezing sound that became one of the most recognizable noises in television history, was inspired by the sound of his dying father's breathing. Palillo took the most painful sound of his childhood and turned it into America's favorite laugh. Every time that studio audience erupted, they were hearing the echo of a boy sitting beside his father's deathbed. After the show, the role destroyed him as completely as it had made him. He was permanently typecast. He described feeling exiled throughout the 1980s, unable to find serious work, sinking into depression, rarely leaving his apartment. In 2002, he appeared on Celebrity Boxing and was knocked out by Dustin Diamond. One generation's lovable nerd, humiliated by the next generation's lovable nerd. But he went back to what he loved, Shakespeare, directing musicals, a one-man show portraying Adolf Eichmann off-Broadway. He taught acting to high school students in Florida and was beloved by every one of them. He lived with his partner of 41 years, Joseph Graham. Most of the world didn't know he was gay until the morning they learned he was gone. Ron Palillo died of a heart attack on August the 14th, 2012. He was 63 years old. Found by Joseph Graham at 4 in the morning. 7 months after Robert Hedges. Same cause. Same decade of life. In 2026, the G-Star School of the Arts still remembers the acting teacher who was due back in class the morning his heart stopped. A Shakespearean actor who took his dying father's last breaths and turned them into the most famous laugh on television. He spent the rest of his life trying to prove he was more than that laugh. He was. The world just never let him show it.
I give you a definite yes! Yes, yes! Yes! Yes!
Horshack.
Yes!
Robert Hedges as Juan Epstein.
Epstein, huh?
Juan Luis Pedro Filipo de Huevos Epstein from San Juan.
Robert Hedges was born on May the 7th, 1951, in Perth Amboy, New Jersey. Half Hungarian, half Italian. A cousin of opera singer Mario Lanza. He studied theater at Glassboro State College, worked part-time at Hardee's to pay for it, completed his student teaching requirement, and walked straight from a Broadway stage into a television audition. He was 24 years old when he became Juan Epstein. And here's the detail most people never knew. When Hedges walked into that audition, he believed he was reading for Vinnie Barbarino. He thought he was the lead. He wasn't. Travolta had already been cast. Hedges was Epstein instead, the half-Jewish, half-Puerto Rican hustler whose full name was Juan Luis Pedro Filipo de Huevos Epstein, a character so specific and so ethnically layered that he normalized mixed identity on American primetime television, years before the culture had a vocabulary for it. He modeled the character entirely on Chico Marx, the wheeler dealer, the lovable scam artist. He became one of the show's directors at just 25 years old. After Kotter, he played Detective Manny Esposito on Cagney and Lacey for 3 seasons. He taught screenwriting and public speaking at Rowan University. He went back to his hometown of Metuchen, New Jersey in 2009 and never left. His final public performance was in early January 2012, playing Chico Marx in a staged radio play, still channeling the same energy that had built Epstein 4 decades earlier. 3 weeks later, he was gone. Robert Hegye died on January the 26th, 2012. He was 60 years old. Heart attack at his home in Metuchen, the same town where he'd grown up. In 2026, 14 years after his death, Juan Epstein remains the most ethnically specific character network television produced in that entire decade. He thought he was Barbarino. He became Epstein instead. And Epstein turned out to be the most quietly revolutionary character on the show. 7 months later, it happened again.
As a matter of fact, honey, this outfit was worn by my great-great-grandmother when she fought on San Juan Hill for the Puerto Rican Jews.
Marcia Strassman as Julie Kotter. Marcia Strassman was born on April the 28th, 1948 in New York City. Her grandmother was a Ziegfeld girl. Entertainment wasn't something she stumbled into, it was in her blood across generations. She'd already played nurse Margie Cutler on MASH before she ever set foot on the Kotter set. She was 27 years old when she became Julie Kotter, the warm, patient, endlessly supportive wife who kept the show's emotional center from falling apart while the Sweathogs got all the laughs. 5 women auditioned for the role. One of them was Farrah Fawcett, deemed too glamorous to be believable beside Gabe Kaplan. Strassman got the part. She later joked about it openly, and then she spent 4 years hating every minute of it. She said it herself. She didn't enjoy making Kotter, and the reason went deeper than creative frustration. Executive producer James Comack told Strassman that Kaplan wanted her off the show. He told Kaplan the same thing about her. Neither was true. Both believed it for years. The tension that poisoned that set was entirely manufactured by one man to keep his cast divided and controllable. After Kotter, her biggest success came playing Rick Moranis' wife in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, and its 1992 sequel. Warm, funny, believable. Everything the Julie Kotter years had quietly cost her. In 2007, she was diagnosed with breast cancer that had spread to her bones. Doctors gave her roughly 2.5 years. She survived 7. She published a memoir called Life with a Side Order of Cancer and kept raising money for research until she had nothing left to give. Marcia Strassman died on October the 24th, 2014. She was 66 years old. In 2026, 12 years after her death, her memoir remains the most honest account any Kotter cast member ever put on paper. Farrah Fawcett was too glamorous for the role. Marcia Strassman was too talented to ever be defined by it. She was tougher than every Sweathog combined.
You love my tuna casserole.
No, you love your tuna casserole. Nobody puts prunes in a tuna casserole.
Lawrence Hilton Jacobs as Freddie Washington. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs was born on September the 4th, 1953 in New York City, the 5th of 9 children. His parents were West Indian immigrants. Before anyone in Hollywood knew his name, he'd worked as a delivery boy, a florist, a messenger, and a stock boy. His breakout came with the cult classic Cooley High in 1975, the same year Kotter premiered. He was 22 years old when he became Freddie Boom Boom Washington, the coolest Sweathog in the room. Smooth, athletic, the kid who made everything look effortless. And here's the fact that most people have completely forgotten. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs appeared in every single episode of Welcome Back, Kotter, all 95. Not Travolta, not Kaplan, not Palillo or Hayes. The only cast member who never missed a single class was Boom Boom Washington. After Kotter, he appeared in Roots. He portrayed Joe Jackson in The Jacksons, An American Dream. He signed to ABC Records and recorded a debut album with Motown songwriter Lamont Dozier. He never stopped working. Television, film, voice work, decade after decade, quietly and consistently, long after the headlines had moved on. In 2024, he surprised Travolta on the red carpet at the TCM Classic Film Festival. The footage went viral. Two men in their 70s, still carrying 50 years of shared history between them. In a recent interview, he said something that tells the whole story of this cast. Kotter is something very special in my life. It's sentimental because a lot of people are gone now. Bobby Hages, Ron Palillo, Marcia Strassman, John White. It's just Gabe, John, and I now. Today, in 2026, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs is 72 years old. Still working, still showing up. The only Sweathog who never missed a class is the one still here.
Hi there. Washington, Freddie, Boom Boom, Washington.
John Sylvester White as Mr. Woodman. John Sylvester White was born on October the 31st, 1919, in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. His father was an attorney who became the first mayor of Colmar Manor, Maryland. He'd been working in American television since the 1940s, soap operas, radio dramas, guest roles across 2 decades, before most of the Sweathog actors had even started school. He was 55 years old when he became Vice Principal Michael Woodman, the bureaucrat who'd long since given up on idealism and was simply waiting to collect his pension, the only adult in the building who genuinely believed the Sweathogs were beyond saving. John Travolta later called him a great actor who gave the show credibility it might not otherwise have earned. He was right. White was the only person on that set who'd lived through the golden age of American television. He brought 4 decades of craft into a Brooklyn classroom full of 20-something comedians. And here's the detail that connects him to an entirely different corner of American pop culture. John Sylvester White was married to Joan Alexander, the actress who voiced Lois Lane on the 1940s Superman radio series. The grumpy vice principal of James Buchanan High was married to one of the most iconic voices in Golden Age radio history. After Kotter ended, he retired quietly. His final television credit was a 1983 appearance on Mama's Family, then nothing. He moved to Hawaii. John Sylvester White died of pancreatic cancer on September the 11th, 1988, in Waikiki. He was 68 years old, the first main cast member to go. In 2026, nearly 4 decades after his death, most people who loved Welcome Back Kotter can't tell you what happened to Mr. Woodman. That invisibility followed him all the way to the end. A man who played someone who'd given up on everything, retired to paradise, and died watching the Pacific Ocean. There's a kind of peace in that ending that Mr. Woodman himself never found.
No, Kotter, no. Delaney was the maniac who dropped 2 teachers of different weights from the gymnasium window to see if they hit the ground at the same time.
Debralee Scott as Rosalie. Hotsy Totsy. Debralee Scott was born on April the 2nd, 1953, in Elizabeth, New Jersey. She was a cheerleader, athletic, sharp, all-American energy with a tough New York edge underneath it. She'd already appeared in American Graffiti and Earthquake before she was cast on Kotter. She was 22 years old when she became Rosalie Hotsy Totsy, the recurring girl Sweathog of season 1. Funny, brash, completely believable as a Brooklyn teenager. And then, almost as quickly as she arrived, she was everywhere. By 1977, she was simultaneously on Kotter, Mary Hartman, and its spin-off, Forever Fernwood. She was a fixture on every major game show, Match Game, Password Plus, the $20,000 Pyramid. She was the face of a specific kind of 1970s television energy. Tough, funny, unmistakably New York. Then the work dried up. By the mid-1980s, the roles had slowed to Police Academy films and scattered guest spots. The entertainment world had moved on without a forwarding address. In 1995, she met a Port Authority police officer named John Dennis Levi at a bar in New York City. They fell in love. They were due to marry in March 2002. On September the 11th, 2001, John Dennis Levi died evacuating people from the World Trade Center. Debralee Scott never recovered. She developed a drinking problem that led to cirrhosis of the liver. Her sister said it simply, she never did get over Dennis's death. In March 2005, she relocated to Florida to care for her ailing sister. Days after arriving, she collapsed into a coma. She woke up in hospital on her birthday. She was released 2 days later. 3 days after that, she died in her sleep. She was 52 years old. In 2026, her story remains almost entirely unknown to the generation that grew up watching her. One of September 11th's most invisible casualties was a woman who had once made the whole country laugh.
Ah, you big dump! You're gonna be sorry!
Stephen Shortridge as Beau Delabere. Stephen Shortridge was born in 1954. Details about his early life are scarce. In 1978, he was handed the most impossible job in television, replace John Travolta. Producers brought him in during the fourth and final season as Beau de la Barre, a smooth-talking Southerner from New Orleans, a new Sweathog designed to fill the space that Barbarino had left. They wanted someone who was explicitly not a Travolta clone, a Southern charmer instead of an Italian stallion. His character dispensed folksy nonsense like, "A real man never steps on a pregnant alligator." The audience never connected with it, not even close. After Kotter ended, Shortridge largely disappeared from the entertainment industry. No breakout role, no second act, no reinvention. In 2026, Stephen Shortridge is 71 years old. He's alive, but Welcome Back Kotter's anniversary coverage doesn't include him. No reunion interviews, no retrospectives. He was hired to replace the irreplaceable, and the show never forgave him for trying. That's not a career. That's a cautionary tale written into a single casting decision. That is Welcome Back Kotter, then and now, 51 years later. 4 of the 7 main cast members are gone. John Sylvester White, the first, in 1988. Debralee Scott in 2005, still carrying a grief that started on a September morning in New York. Robert Haggase in January 2012. Ron Palillo 7 months after that. Marcia Strassman in 2014, 7 years past the deadline her doctors had given her. 3 are still here. Gabe Kaplan, 81 years old, carrying the green corduroy jacket in every script. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, 72, still working, still showing up. John Travolta, 72, still standing after losses that would have finished most people entirely. The show is about a man who went back. The cast spent the rest of their lives figuring out whether going back was a blessing or a sentence. Some made peace with it, some never got the chance. If this story hit you, if you want more cast retrospectives like this one, subscribe. Every week we go back to the shows that shaped a generation and find out what really happened to the people who made them. You won't get highlight reels, you'll get the truth. Drop a comment below, which story hit you hardest? And one last thing, now that you know where Horshack's laugh actually came from, a boy sitting beside his dying father, turning the worst sound of his childhood into the thing that made America smile, you'll never hear it the same way again. Neither will I.